You're listening to The Moose and the Loose, your 10 minutes action-packed financial podcast with your host, Mike Yahoo. Hey, what's up, Market Moose? Mike from The Moose on the Loose. I hope you're doing well this Friday. So, as you know, it's Business Friday. Today, I'm going back on my conference I attended in Boise last week. So, Craft and Commerce 2024. I think it was like their 6th or 7th edition. It was amazing. I had a lot of fun. But today, I'm here to tell you my tips to make sure that you are making a return on your investment when you attend to a conference and that you don't waste your time and you don't waste your money. Or in other words, that you maybe not waste your time, not waste your employer's time and employer's money. So Craft and Commerce, quickly, it's a 3 days conference where there's a lot of diverse stock. This is what I love the most. It's hosted by the company ConvertKit that is soon to become Kit. Growing company, very impressive, inspiring. It's the software we use for our mailing service, but it's a lot more than that now. They have like landing pages. You can run polls through your newsletter. They're adding like a bunch of apps. Anyways, like was super exciting to get there, but yet you want to get something out of this because it has a cost until you turn that into an investment. And since I'm an investor, well, anytime I spend money on something, I don't want to spend money. I want to invest money. So instead of telling myself I spend $4,000 to get to Boise and attend to a conference, what I like to think is I made an investment on myself and on my business of $4,000. So now how do I get the best ROI from this? Well, the first thing is I prepare in advance. So the way Craft and Commerce conference is set up is you have a main stage talk, then you have some workshops. So you decide which workshop you want to go. And then in the afternoon, we have similar formula. So you go back to another workshop. So you have typically like a choice between 4 or 5 workshops every time. And then another main stage talk where you have like usually three speakers back to back for like half an hour, 40 minutes each, like talking about various topics. So super interesting. But if you do not prepare in advance, you're going to just wander around. You're going to follow people that looks nice, but you're not necessarily going to get something out of that. So by looking at the schedule, looking at all the topics, I can identify which workshops I want to see, which people I want to connect with, and what do I want to get out of this conference. So that's the very first thing is I want to make sure that I have a plan. I keep like a 1-pager note where I know exactly, okay, this is how my Wednesday is going to happen. This is how Thursday is going to happen. This is how Friday is going to happen. And then Saturday, I was just flying back. So that's the first thing. The second thing is then when you get there, get there with the right mindset. You're there to connect with people, to learn, and you're not necessarily there to party. So it is very, very fun to meet a few people and then you hang around with those for the entire time of the conference. It's securing. If you know someone there, you may go with a partner or colleague, so you're just going to stick with them, but you're not going to get much out of that, right? Because you're just going to talk about people that you see all the time anyway, or you're not going to be able to grab like nuggets of wisdoms of multiple people. So when I get there, I open myself. I want to make sure that I speak to a lot of people and just be genuine, just be yourself. So if you are in the middle of a great conversation, you stay there and then you don't have to think about who else is in the room. Be invested with that person, stay connected and have a genuine discussion. Sometimes going to be like 15, 20 minutes, sometimes going to be like an hour, but it all depends on how you do it. But you have to get the right mindset of connecting with people and engaging with them for real. So do not just go there and try to sell them something that will never work. Another point. So the first point, prepare in advance. The second point, get the right mindset. And then I just quickly said, well, it's fun to party. Of course, there are parties over there. You can you're going to grab supper. You can have like a nice drink or wine in my case. And it's awesome. But make sure that you are able to wake up early the next day and that you still have energy in your tank. So my trick on my side was to wake up at 6 and go for a morning run, as it's exactly the same setup that I have here. Like the only difference is that I wake up at 5. So already waking up at 6 was great because it was giving me like 1 extra hour of sleep. But that was super important to just go outside, do my morning run, do my morning routine literally, to make sure that I have like plenty of energy to start the next day, because those things are really demanding if you invest yourself in those conferences. So yes, I went out, I had some drinks, but the next morning I always made sure that I was able to wake up, do my morning run, and be bright and early for the next day of conference. The fourth tip that I have is I take notes like it's a brainstorm session. So I'm not trying to think at this point. I'm just trying to absorb as much information as possible. And I'll be honest with you, most of it will never serve me, but you're not there at this point to determine if it's good or not. You're there just to get all the answers, all the information that people are willing to give you, and then you can reflect back later on. So at first, I'm just taking notes. I had like 17 pages of notes, and the way I did it is for each speaker, I had a section in my notebook where I took notes, and then I had like specific pages where I was highlighting main takeaways. So regardless, like sometimes I had like 1 takeaway, sometimes I had like 12 takeaways. I had like there was a conference with John Yushai that like I had like half a page of main takeaway, not just notes, like just things that blew my mind, but like super important. So you already prepare for the next step. That's the last step. The last tip that I have to give you is, while you're taking all those notes, you take them as a brainstorm, but you're trying to organize them already. Because here's the trick. When I go back from those conferences, so on Saturday I was on my flight and like I had like a huge layover, so it was a lot of time. But here's the thing. Now I have like 152 things on my to-do list. I'm overhyped, overexcited. Everything that I've learned or hear about over the past few days sounds like $1 million ideas. So technically, I'm getting out of this thinking that now I'm worth like $100 million, which is not the case. And most of those ideas are probably bad or not applicable, or I need to tweak them. So the last step is really to narrow down that list to what really matters. Go back to your preparation on tip number 1, where you answer that question. Where do you want to get? Like, what do you want to have once you get out of this conference? And then narrow down all your takeaways, all your notes, to make a clean summary, but most importantly, just focus on like 2 or 3 big ideas. And just to give you an idea, I haven't taken enough time to distill all that information. So I'm still in the step of narrowing down all the stuff that I've learned, that I heard of. But then the next step will really be to identify like 2, maximum 3 growth vectors, 3 main ideas where I'm going to focus on for the next 12 months, and not more than that, because above 3, you're never going to make it anyway. So tip number 1, to make sure that you get ROI on your conference and you don't waste your time and your money, prepare in advance. Tip number 2, get there with the right mindset. Do not spend time in your hotel room. Do not spend time with the same people every single day. Connect genuinely with people. Number 3, party. Make connections, but wake up early and follow a morning routine. Find something that will give you energy. Number 4, take notes like there's no tomorrow, like it's a brainstorm session of like 3 days. Be open-minded about everything. Do not think, take notes, and then you're going to get to tip number 5. Go from that 152 items on your to-do list, narrow it down, and combine them if you want, but focus on 2, 3 maximum main ideas, main takeaways, main growth vectors, and then you're done. So as I can tell you, I already did tip number 1 to 4. I'm in the middle of tip number 5, but I have not taken any major decision for my business until I'm done with those, narrowing down those main keynotes, drivers, growth vectors, and ideas. So, all right, Moose, that's enough for today. I hope that you will have an amazing weekend. I'm coaching soccer again on Saturday. I'm super excited. We have 2 games, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to talk again on Monday. And until then, don't forget to stay invested. Hey, welcome to the disclaimer. If you're listening to The Moose and the Loose, you cannot really expect me to give you buy or sell recommendation or financial advice, right? You're here for fun, you're here for information and some entertainment. But I am not your financial advisor, I am not your broker, so therefore I'm not liable if you're losing money after listening to the podcast. If you're looking for some advice, go see a professional. If not, you can enjoy the show and do your due diligence after it.